today is linked, has a theme linked to, well, the World Cup, and this is our first red card. We're showing it to child labor. I'm sure you understand what that means in the course of our conversation. But June 12th, every year is observed as Child Labor Day throughout the world by the International Labour Organization. The celebrations, which began in 2002 through the initiative of the ILO, is meant to raise awareness of the plight of child laborers worldwide. It is also to see global movement against child labor and mobilize support towards its elimination. The campaign this year is also linked to the upcoming World Cup tournament in Brazil to encourage everyone to show a red card, which is what I have. Red card to all those who exploit children in Ghana. In Ghana, this year's celebration has the theme Combating Child Labor in Ghana through Effective Social Protection. Now, this means there is a need to introduce national social security systems that are sensitive to children's needs and help fight child labor, as well as reach out to vulnerable groups. Just before I start my conversation, remember, we're showing a red card to anyone who exploits any child the world over. Now let's get into the matter now. I have here with me in the studio Emmanuel Kwame Mensah. He's project officer with the International Labour Organization Ghana Project Office. Thank you very much, Emmanuel.
Thank you.
So we are showing red card to child labor.
Yes, everybody who uses children is red card. You are out of the game, you are not scoring a goal.
Absolutely. So can people get this?
Yes, this is available at the child labor unit of the Labor Department. Today they are doing a policy.
You should have brought more so that we'll just have people come in here and pick them up.
That's true, but you show red card once in a game. Okay, once at a time. So
no, everybody has to show it at the same time, so we are all red.
Okay, go. Okay.
No child labor.
I'll get you more of this.
Absolutely. But tell us, really, we need social systems here in the country so that we can protect our children more.
Yeah.
Tell us about these social systems that we need.
Yeah, thank you. Social protection, as we call it, is a system of providing support to families that are vulnerable and excluded. It's a pro-poor strategy to deal with issues like child labor. Like, you know, child labor is fundamentally caused by poverty, ignorance, and other stuff. So we are saying that social protection systems in Ghana, for example, you have heard about the cash transfer through LEAP, where monies are given to families that are poor. When we say families that are poor, families that don't have access to voice, family don't have a sustainable employment, mommy and daddy are dead, so children, 16-year-old girl has to take care of the rest of the siblings, or there's somebody who is earning the bread for the family but who is dead or who is not available. So we are saying that if children must come out of child labor and be put into school, they must get a livelihood support system, that's the social protection. So this year, we are focusing on that as a theme towards the elimination of child labor.
I see. And how well have we done as a country so far?
Well, I'm speaking from the ILO perspective.
Absolutely.
Across the world, you have over 168 million children in child labor. In Africa alone, we are talking about excess of 50 million. That means that 1 out of every 5 African children is in child labor. In Ghana, the situation is not the best, although it's improving. We are looking forward that the Ghana Statistical Service will give us the latest results. But the last census that was done, I mean, the child labor survey showed that more than 1 million children are estimated to be in child labor. But there's progress. There's a national plan of action that is dealing with child labor. There's good collaboration between the Ministry of Employment and then the Ministry of Gender and Social Protection to make sure that families are supported. Many children who are in child labor are in rural areas, but peri-urban areas are not excluded. As you see, if you go down your street here, you see children who are not in school and selling wares. So it's a huge problem. Even if there was one person in child labor, it's worth dealing with it. We are talking about children in commercial sexual exploitation. We are talking about children who are in domestic servitude. We are talking about children in fishing and mining. Galamsey, you know what the problem is. So in our constitution, in the Ghanaian constitution, the issue of child labor is looked at from the perspective of human rights. It means that children should be protected from this fundamental hazard to their livelihoods, and child labor is a no-go area. Red card.
Absolutely, red cards to child labor. We'll come to the card pretty shortly. But my concern is the fact that as a country, we are not able to differentiate what might constitute child labor for a child. And so we don't know if the little girl in your house you're schooling and perhaps does a few chores at home for you is child labor, or we define this to us in our own context.
Yes. Practically, I mean, the concept of child labor is something to to communicate very clearly because it's at the base of all interventions. We have moved in Ghana, we have moved away from the denial stage where we say that there's no child labor in the country, but it's because the concepts were not clear. Now it is clear. We are saying that children are allowed to do work that helps them to integrate socially into the family setting. We are a rural agrarian society, so children must learn how to farm. I mean, it's part of the traditional link. But children, and nobody wants children to be exposed to work that stops them from quality education, that affects their health. If you have a 9-year-old, sweeping is no problem, but if she has asthma and you're asking her to sweep a compound that is dusty, it's not helpful. Although the work is not laborious, it is exposing the child to injury. It's a form of child labor. If you have a child who is 7 years old and you're asking her to use the blender to blend tomatoes, she's so curious. If because of the connection the blender is not able to work properly, she wants to put her hand inside and see if the thing is turning. She's 7 years, her mental acumen is not charged. She puts it there and it cuts her. So in domestic work we have child labor. So if the work exposes the child to injury, it's hazardous. I mean, children are working on farms.
I think it's easier to decipher that bit when it comes to domestic servitude, like you mentioned. But when it comes to children from poor homes whose parents probably make them help out in raising money for the home, then such a parent finds it difficult understanding the concept of child labor. In that instance,
the survival argument is an old one. Well, there are children who come from poor homes, they want to help, so should they do armed robbery? No, they shouldn't. Children who come from poor homes, they want to help, so should they do commercial sex? No, they shouldn't. So survival.
Those are really tough ones.
But it's a principle. It's a principle I'm driving at. Sorry to cut you. It's a principle.
I was also asking because you assessed that, you know, anything that would not take them away from quality education, so that the child who goes to the markets with the mother or the father and tells in the market to help the mother or the father, the parent.
No, that's good. That's not necessarily child labor.
That's
Mommy
my
is there.
point.
Yes, you are right. You are right there. Mommy is there. Daddy is there. There's protection. Even as she is giving the 50 Ghana cedis out to buy contomere 10 cedis and she receives change, she gets practical understanding of the mathematics class she had yesterday. So there's a way in which children engage in activity actually improves their education. So children working is not all bad. Okay. But we have to be careful because there are many of these children who are standing on our streets and selling pure water in the name of survival, who are hit by vehicles every now and then. There are many children in the name of survival who are paddling canoes on the Volta Lake as we speak and are going to dive into the river to disentangle nets in the name of survival. They will not come back again. So I think that this is important. I know that people like Eric Piasa are doing great work in the elimination of child labor. He was telling me the last time that they are rescuing children who have spinal cord injury because when they dive into the river and were coming out, their back hit the boat. These are real issues that happen. It must be a red card.
And red card. One of the ways we're looking into raising awareness this year is this red card. How really do we hope that this will help? So I have the red card, then what?
So you have the red card. So the idea is that red card means you're out. Red means stop at the traffic light. If you're a child who is being trafficked, they say stop it. If you're a mother in anywhere of the country giving your child for 200 Ghana cedis, stop it. So red is traffic light stop, and World Cup season is you're out of the game. Any adult who is using a child in galamsey, in domestic work, child trafficking, commercial sex, agriculture that is hazardous, it's red card. You're out of the game. You're not playing the game.
My other concern again is the fact that after we've rescued some of these children, there is no reintegration plan for them. We find the children going back to where we got them from.
Yeah. There's limited reintegration because we need to improve our strategy for reintegration. We need more shelters, for example. But we must also understand that we should be moving away from institutional care of children. The shelters are transitory points, so we are making sure that our families must be good. Okay, parents must be more responsible. In fact, there are some cases that are reported that you see that the parents seem to be perpetuators, and that's so helpful when the children are brought back and then they go back. They say, oh, if you take your child into it, we'll give you more support, so why don't we put the children into it? That's why law enforcement is crucial. We shouldn't see the children as victims, as people who are perpetuating the crime. They are victims, but the adults should be seen as people who must be prosecuted when they are recalcitrant. Even if
we should probably consider going into the foster home system so that we can get some of these children out of the shelters into proper homes where, you know, they are monitored.
Yes. These are things that can be explored. I think it's good. We must make sure we have good foster families, not families that will maltreat the children. If you remove a child from commercial sex and come and bring the child into domestic servitude in the name of foster and fostering him or her, then that's going to be bad. So we don't want to put the child in a worse situation. So we should get our systems right.
I'm looking forward to the cards for viewers who may be interested to support the cause. Behind it, it says All Together Against Child Labor. When he does bring these cards, I will announce them so you can pass by and pick them up. Thank you.
You are putting me on the spot.
Oh, I am. Yes, I am. I'm excited this morning. I'm super hyper because today is the opening for the World Cup. I can't wait. I really don't care what people are saying about Ghana and the fact that we may not go past.
We'll go past.
Go past there.
Do you know that it's possible that child labor is directly related to our winning? The more we inversely related, the more we eliminate child labor, the more goals we score.
Scientific proof to that.
Between you and I.
Okay, thank you very much, Emmanuel, for your time. So, red card to child labor. I have shown my first red card already, even before the opening game. But when I come back, we'll talk the game proper. What should we expect? You know, in the opener today, later today. Have I told you also I play some football? I haven't? Maybe I'll show you when I come back. Don't go away.